Hey, welcome back to Burnt Wood Workshop. Today we're going to go a little further with the M1 Ultra. I'm going to do this design again, but this time we're going to do it in multiple layers of different materials. So it's going to start with a piece of basswood, then we're going to add some cardboard, some cardstock, and just do some different layers and show how you can use the M1 Ultra to give a little different effect. So this is what we're going to end up with. And at the end, if you stay tuned, I'm going to show you can download this, where you can download this design so you can make these for yourself. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the different things you can do with the M1 Ultra with different mediums. So we're going to start with, like, our back layer here is going to be done in basswood, and then we're going to do a cardstock layer for the next layer. Then we're going to do a transparent paper layer in between these two, so our windows have color. We're going to do a trim ring in basswood. Then we're going to do a cardboard cutout, and we're going to do another paper cutout. And we're going to put all this together with a bunch of different types of mediums. We're going to go back and forth between the fine cut blade and the laser. So just to show you what you can mix your mediums up on this to do some different things. Okay, so we did this. I did the layered wedding engraving before with the bride and the groom, but now we're going to do it with the M1 Ultra in cardstock. So what I did was I changed it up a little bit, and I made the church a standalone, and the trees will be with the church for a background, and that will give some color in the windows and colored trees behind. And then we've got our bride and our groom. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run this one first in a light cardstock. And what I did was I picked the colored cardstock, 9 ounce. This is what came with it. And it's going to be the fine cut blade. And our settings are right here. And we're going to process this. So what I did, as you can see, is I set my crosshair on the corner of the cardstock, and I brought the image, what we're cutting out, in a little ways around, so that when our blade is cutting, it doesn't catch the edge and curl it up. You got to just leave a little bit of room so that it doesn't mess up the paper when you're doing this. Okay, so we've got our white piece of paper in here. This is cardstock, and this is the piece we're going to make our church out of. So we're going to run that right now. Okay, so we're going to hit start, and blade's going to set. Which goes pretty quick, but we're cutting with our fine blade. And we will run this, and I'll speed it up. So somehow I accidentally deleted or didn't record the actual removing this from the laser. But this is the paper cutout with the M1 Ultra, and the detail on it is just excellent. I mean, it came out really nice. Okay, so we've got our paper all set up. This one's going to have a lot less cuts, so this one's going to be a lot easier to clean up when we're done. Apparently we had a piece of paper stuck to the blade that just dropped on the paper. Probably had to clear that off. So let's hit pause. And we're just going to grab that little piece of paper. We don't want that to mess up our cut. So you might want to check your blade, make sure nothing's stuck to it before you hit start. Okay, so just for fun, we want to use some translucent paper. And we want to add it so that this is lit up. So this is our basic piece. We're going to turn this to yellow. Actually, we've already got a yellow, so we're going to make it light blue. We just want to keep our colors separate. And then we're going to edit this. We're going to create a compound vector. We're going to edit it. And we're going to take out all of these lines here. basically all we want are the windows. Okay, so we've got our windows. Now, we don't want to cut out all of this. We want to cut this out. No, I don't think I got that last one. Let's hit done first. Then we're going to pick this whole thing. We're going to create an offset. And we're going to make the offset big enough to cover the whole thing. I don't know what that piece there is, but we're going to hit confirm. And then we're going to edit. Wait a minute. We're going to edit, and we're going to get rid of this. Then we want to take this size. We want to take this. We want that basic church shape. So we're going to line this up with this nicely. Okay, I think we're pretty well lined up. Now we want to pick our blue. We want to create a compound vector. We want to edit it. And we basically just want to push all of this shape inside of the confines of the church area. All right, now here we've got a whole bunch of lines. So there's a little quick thing we can do here is zoom in on that, clip the first line, clip the last line, hit done, edit, delete that, done. I'll go back to edit and take this one and just bring it right to that one. Swing that into there. And then we just got to get the rest of the church in. And to do that, we're going to do another quick snip right there. Actually, we're going to snip it right there. And hit done, edit, and a snip that and that. Hit done. Bring this up to here. And I don't know if it connected, so we're just going to do it this way. And then we're going to bring the rest of this all inside the church. And then we're just going to take that. We're going to do that. We're going to clip that. I'm going to go over here and remove all these in. No, somehow we got an extra line there. That's all right. We got it. Okay. I'm going to take, nope, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to bring it down to right. Oh, wait, we got that there. Okay, so we're going to bring that down to there. We're going to clip these off. We're going to go done, edit, select that, delete, done, edit, and bring this one down to below there, even with that. Then we're going to come across to that, connect, and done. Okay, so there is our outline, and we don't want what we do for a second. We want these in here long enough to get this set up, lined up nicely with this, like that. And then we're going to take our blue and we're going to release the compound vector. We're going to pick this and we're going to move it to a totally different color. We're going to make it gray for the moment. Then we're going to pick blue and we're going to delete all of the blue. Then we're going to go back in with this gray to turn that back to blue. And we're a little close on this one, so we're going to edit this one more time. And we're just going to bring this in a little closer to that. Something like that. That. This doesn't have to be super fancy. It's just going to be a cutout. All right, so we're done with this. We want our blue. We'll put that in here, and we're going to our translucent paper. Okay, so what I did was I want to cut this vellum. We did our outline, and I wasn't sure what the settings were, so I looked that up online because there isn't anything that I could find in the materials list here. I didn't look in plastic. I might have. No, that's going to show up as acrylic. So anyway, what I did was I looked up online, and they recommended something around 100 grams, 75 millimeters per second. So we're going to give that a try and see how it works. Okay, so let's see what our results are. And I lost my spatula knife again. Let's see if we cut through. We did not. So that was not enough. So we could try it again, run it again at that speed, that setting, or we could redo the whole thing. We're going to try it just going again. Process again. Let's see if we get through on the second try. It only took basically 11 seconds to do this, so see if our second pass gets us through. And we did. Okay, so our second pass got us through nicely. Oh, let's not tear the paper. This stuff is kind of fragile, but that worked out really nice. Okay, so we'll show what this looks like. Okay, so we're going to take our paper piece off. We're going to put our vellum piece in behind. Put our paper piece back on. Just a quick demonstration. Now you can see all the windows are lit with a nice amber glow. So you could go crazy and cut little pieces out and do these all on stained glass too. I'm just doing it this way to show you what you can do with this. All right, so our back layer, since we're doing this multimedia, is going to be basswood. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, and what I did was I eliminated all of these extra pieces. See all these little line cuts and the stairs and all that, so that just the windows are going to cut out. So when we put our translucent paper on there, that'll shine through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this out, and cutting this out of basswood is going to be 1/8" basswood, apply, and we're going to set it to cut. And that's going to make it 90 and 5 speed. And we're going to process that and cut it out. Okay, so here we are with a 10-watt module. We're going to hit start. And it cuts the 1/8" basswood pretty quickly. This is going to take us 9 minutes to cut this up. We've got our AP2, drawn our smoke out, and I've got the air assist running to make a clean cut. Okay, so here's our 1/8" basswood cut out. I'm going to let that AP2 finish sucking the smoke out. And as you can see already, the detail is fantastic. So, there is our church, just like in the other video I did in the wood. But what we're changing up is now we're going to put the white church over it like this. So these are our 3 layers set up. Our first layer is the basswood, and then we've got to coat a piece of the yellow vellum. I painted the basswood in the green, and then our paper layer is over the top, our cardstock. So this is the bride and groom that we're going to cut out for the next layer. And there's going to be a trim ring between this to elevate those out from the church, and I'll show that afterwards. But the bride and the groom, I did this out of a cereal box, just so it wasn't just a floppy paper, but I didn't want to use basswood and show what the capabilities of the machine were. So I did this out of a cereal box, and I couldn't find settings for cereal box, so I made a test grid. So I'm going to show you how to do a test grid, and then we're going to run this. Okay, so on the test grid, you want to start with, you can start with any shape, or you can just use their predetermined X, but I just use a square usually. And you want to make sure you set it to cut if you want to do a test grid for cutting. And then you're going to go applications, you're going to hit material test array. And then we know that our minimum setting is going to be 75 power. This is just because I have an idea of what it takes already. And 100 power. And then our minimum speed is going to be 10. You don't want to go too slow and catch a fire. So you want to stick within a certain parameter. So this is a good area to go. So we're going to hit done. And this is going to give us a test cut array so that we know what setting to use the best, what setting is going to be the best. And when I did the array, the lowest setting was 100 power at 20 speed was the first cut through. But at 10 speed, 75, 88, and 100 all cut through. So we're going to just pick 88, 10, and that's going to be our setting. Okay, so here we are cut out of a cereal box, and as you can see, old Captain Crunch box. So there that is. Now we're going to glue our bride and groom onto this so it's a little more solid than just the cardstock. I didn't want to get too fancy, but I just wanted a little bit of white behind this before I put the bride and groom on. So there's a little bit of something shining through than something nicer than cardboard. So with the laser, that took 2 minutes. So that went fairly quick. Okay, so this is the bride and groom layer that we're going to cut out of cardstock. And as you can see, it has more details than the cardboard one did. And these details are going to show through in white. So what we did was, we've got this set on the blade cut bed. Hang on, here we go. Colored cardstock, 9 ounces, 300 grams, and we hit apply. And that's going to give us a pressure of 250 and a speed of 80. And we're going to cut that out next. Okay, so we're cutting out our last one. This one's got a little more detail in it than the one before, the back, but not as much as the church. But this is our front piece, and I did it in purple just because I didn't know what color to do it. So this is what we're going to do. So I used a lot more care pulling our bride and groom out, and as you can see, all the little details came out really nice. So if the next thing we want to do is we want to make a standoff so this doesn't sit right up against the church, but we also want to have a frame. We want a frame and we want a stand to set it on. So to make that, we're going to take and we're just going to draw an oval, not too much bigger than what we've got here. We're going to center that up on here. We're going to take and we're going to make a rectangle. And we're going to take that and we're going to put a foot on the bottom of here. We're going to unlock this. We're going to make this 1/8 inch, but we're going to make it a little less. So we're going to make it 1, 2, 2 instead. And I didn't do the 1.122 instead of 125. That's that. Then we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it. And on this one, we're going to make it the 0.125. So we're going to change this one to 125. So that we have our 1/8 inch for the slot. But on here, it's going to be a little shorter so it doesn't hit the table when you set it in it. Okay, so we're going to center this up with that. Center it up on here. We're going to pick this. We're going to ungroup it. We're going to pick this and hold shift and pick this. We're going to combine. We're going to hit union. And there is your frame with your tab. There's our cutout for this to sit in. And we're going to make that, group that together. We're going to take this, we're going to group this together. And then we're going to take one more frame, and that's going to be our front frame. And we're going to cut all this out and finish it up.
So a review of our layers. Our very base layer is a piece of basswood, 1/8 inch. Then we put a piece of vellum in between yellow. We did our painting of the wood before we put this on, and then we spray adhesive, put this piece of paper on here for this ring. So the next piece that's going to go on is the spacer. And this spacer is going to go on here like this. And then our base is going to go on like this. So we're going to glue those up next. And I'm just using CA glue on this. Okay, so we're going to put CA glue and we're going to put this piece on. And this CA glue sets up pretty quick. So I don't even usually clamp it or anything. I just go around it a couple times like that. And then this piece here is a piece of a cereal box and then our cardstock. And I painted the piece in between beforehand so that you had the white shining through. And we're going to glue this on next. Okay, so now our bride and groom are outset from the church a little bit, so they're not right on top of it. And then our last layer is this piece here. And you could stain this piece, you could paint it, you could pretty much do whatever you want with it. Make it look different, nicer, whatever. But this is going to be our nice trim ring for this. Like that. So here's our finished product, and what I did was I stained it with gray, just give it a little nicer look, and I don't know if you can see the light shining through that, but I think that's a pretty cool effect. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'm going to make this available on xTool's Atom site, but I'm going to make it available in the basswood one that I did, because I don't know how to make all the settings available. So if you watch the video, you'll know what the settings are to do this in multimedia. But I'm going to list the basswood one, and you can just convert the settings to what you like. And if you're interested in M1 Ultra, it's a great machine. It's really a lot of fun, the different things you can do with it. If you order one through the link that I'm going to put in the comments, I get a little commission. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps out the channel. I spend a lot of money on materials doing these videos, so any little bit helps. And my next video is going to be something a little different. It's going to be a household item I think you'll enjoy, so stay tuned.